Many players drop out of MMOs like Guild Wars or World of Warcraft, typically because they end up reaching their goal and they find it difficult to find a new reason to keep playing the game. Some people reach max level, they finish the story, or they obtain the gear that they want and they have no other reason to keep playing the video game. And believe it or not, with this many hours in the game, 2,285, I still have goals that I want to accomplish within the game. So let's talk about some strategies on how you can set some goals for future you to achieve within Guild Wars 2. If you think about it, a lot of the free-to-play games that are available at the moment, they have many different aspects to keep you playing the game. Stuff like battle passes, they have new challenges coming out every single week. Various different unlocks such as mounts, skins, gun charms, rainbow shoes, you name it. Just a bunch of different things to keep you tailored into playing the game every single day. And of course, Guild Wars 2 is no exception to that. They have tons of content and rewards to keep you playing this game. However, with Guild Wars 2, it's a massive game, and a lot of people get confused on what they should do in the game. One of the first things I started doing when I started playing the game is I started to do the personal story. Personal story is great because it dives you deep into what the world is with Guild Wars. You get to learn about the lore, you get to learn about the characters. One of the best things about the story is that it has voice acting, and that's incredible. It takes a lot of work for a studio to hire voice talent, to record the dialogue, and to put everything together into an instance within a video game. Guild Wars 2 has a really cool story specifically because everything is voice acted.
You have something to say it to my face.
I would if you weren't always running away.
And just as a visual reference, I'm going to show you guys how much of the story Guild Wars 2 has, with expansions and of course the base game that is completely free to play. There's so much content in the game right now. If you're a new player, it'll definitely keep you busy up until the new expansion comes out. One of the next things I did in the game is I tried to get all of the secret mounts that are available. There are a handful of different mounts in the game that are not required for the personal story. It's extremely fun to explore the game and try and find these secret mounts. These secret mounts aren't required to be any of the story content in Guild Wars 2, like the expansion or any different features that come up in the game. You don't need any of these mounts to beat this content. These are some of the best mounts in any kind of MMO. You use the Springer if you want to jump up high. You use the Raptor if you want a fast mount that can jump across any gaps. And the mounts that can be in the air, such as the Griffin or the Sky Scale, are really fun to use. Not to mention, you can also go racing with the Roller Beetle. It's such a crazy mountain in the game, and I've seen no other MMOs out there that do mounts as good as Guild Wars 2 does. Some of these mounts require more time to get. You need to do some quests. There are other items you need tailored to get, like the saddle required for the mount, but it pays off. Once you have these mounts, they're super fun to use in game, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't regret spending my time getting them. Now, I know there are some experienced players who are watching this video and they're saying, I already have all the mounts.
I have all the gear. I've already beaten all of the personal story.
I'm going to show you guys what goals I have in the game, and maybe that'll help guide you. I go through different phases with Guild Wars 2. Sometimes I'm really hooked on PvE content. Other days I really like to play PvP content, and some days I just wake up and really like to roam around and take Stone Mist Castle within World vs. World. So let's dive into each of these sections, starting with PvE. I've made a little list in the top right corner of my game of all the achievements that I want to accomplish that usually get me some type of reward to show that off. So for example, guys, thank you so much for the subscribers. I appreciate it. If you're playing the game right now, you'll know that there's a lot of rewards out there that involve you playing the new content that they've released in the game, such as Iceberg Saga, Path of Fire, etc. And if you want to be an elite player and you want to get these really cool looking skins, you got to be able to play a lot of that content. And if you're really struggling to find PvE content or challenges that are in the game, here's my recommendation to you. Currently, ArenaNet has this big achievement right now where if you go through all of the old living world content such as Dry Top, Lake Doric, etc. And if you complete various different achievements, story instances, and events that are going on in these maps, you are rewarded with some pretty good items. You are able to get one ascended weapon. When End of Dragons launches, you'll be able to turn this item in for a precursor for a legendary. 32 slot bag. We are MMO players. We need big bags to hold more shiny stuff.
Shiny!
And the biggest reward that you can get from all these achievements is a legendary amulet. And legendary gear is the best gear you can get in this game, so a lot of players will be going after this, meaning you'll have tons of different players roaming around on these maps, which makes doing events and achievements way easier. So my recommendation is to have multiple goals within PvE so you don't get burnt out and you have various different things to play and choose. You might find that after a while you get really tired of playing the same old character over and over again. And you know what? Wow, people are reviving me. And yeah, sometimes it can get really repetitive when you're playing the same class and the same kind of character day after day after day. Don't be afraid to make alt characters. You can still accomplish all of the goals that you're doing within the game. Playing as a different class and a different character can help mix up the play style. I played a lot of Thief back in the day, but I enjoy so many different other classes in the game, such as Necromancer, Warrior, Engineer, Mesmer. There are loads of different classes in the game that are really a blast to play. And there are loads of different builds that you can try with these characters. You can have a Condi Guardian. You can have a support engineer. You can be a really tanky thief. There's so many different ways to play this game that none of us will have the same type of experience. And that's just what's so cool about MMOs. So don't be afraid to try different classes. I highly recommend, if you play a new class, jumping into PvP so you have all the abilities, all of the weapons available right at the start. And this brings us to our next question. What kind of goals can you have within PvP? PvP is an extremely fun game mode. You can use PvP to explore a bunch of different builds. You can get better at the combat in the game by practicing 1v1s with different classes, and you can learn what kind of weaknesses and strengths your current build has within the game. But what kind of goals can you set within PvP? Well, one of the very best ones you can do is jump into competitive. Now, I know competitive isn't for everyone. However, with the rank system, okay, listen. All right, I'm gonna be real with you here. This ranked season has been quite tough on me. I've lost a lot, so please don't make fun of me. Thank you very much for the subscriber. That makes up for my PvP season that has not been good. You can grind as much as you want, and you can try to get up here to the leaderboards. I'm just gonna say, good luck. There's a lot of good players playing this game, but it's really fun to jump into competitive matches because it always keeps you on your toes. These players know how to play the game, and they really know the best kind of builds to use in every kind of circumstance. And depending what kind of rewards you want to receive in PvP, you can pick a reward track that gives you items that you typically receive from playing PvE. Now, if you want to be the top of the top, sweatiest gamer within PvP, you can always partake in the tournaments that are going on within the game. You can get some exclusive titles within the game, and you can also get this thing, whatever this thing is. If you play lots of PvP, you'll meet lots of people who are queuing up daily, so you can try and form teams, make alliances, and of course,
Make loads and tons of enemies.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
let's talk about world versus world. And I typically do go through instances when I'm playing this game where I get hooked on playing world versus world. One of the first things I recommend doing is obtaining a commander icon. That way, when you roam around on world versus world, you can have massive players follow you, and it makes it easier to capture keeps, mob over enemy players. It really makes your world versus world experience much more fun. While playing world versus world, you want to make sure you spend your ability points in things that you enjoy doing in the game. One of my characters, I've spent all the ability points on the catapults, whereas another character, they're super good with riding their warclaw. It just depends how I play that character, what class they are, and what I want them to be really good at when it comes to world versus world. So I recommend, if you're in a guild or have a bunch of friends, jumping into this game mode and roaming around with each other. And that brings me to my next point in the game: playing with other players. Now, this is an MMO game, which means it stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Game. So you should really explore this MM part of the game. Play with other players. If you're enjoying Guild Wars 2 and you love playing the content, invite some of your friends to play the game. The base game is free to play, so they have nothing to lose when they create an account. It's really fun playing this game with your friends. You can help them learn the mechanics of their class. You can drag them into jumping puzzles. There are loads of different content in the game that you can play with them. But you might be saying, oh, wait a second, I don't have any
Friends that play this game. Wah!
There's a reason we play this with the keyboard. You can send any message you want. You'll meet players who love to do all different parts of the game. Fractals, dungeons, PvP, role-playing. There are so many different elements of this game. You just have to put yourself out there and talk to other players in the game. I'm sure if you want to meet other players, you can leave a comment on this video, and you'll find other players who are willing to play with you. Or you're more than and welcome to join our Discord community. Link is in the description down below. I hope this video helps shine some light on what kind of goals you can set in the future within Guild Wars 2. If you're working on any goals in-game, make sure you let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay hydrated, gamers.